First, our guest sitting with us now is someone who's been breaking down barriers and challenging conventional beauty standards.
At just 3 foot 8 inches tall, 23-year-old Kate says she's the UK's smallest glamour model and is determined to prove that small is sexy.
So, as she continues to show that size doesn't matter, Kate Heller joins us now. Morning, Kate.
Morning.
Lovely to meet you this morning. So, look, talk us through why you initially decided to start your social media accounts and portraying fashion for people like yourself.
So it's quite clear that I grew up with achondroplasia and representation back in the day of the early 2000s. It wasn't there. So I decided to create a fashion account to showcase my outfits that I wore to sixth form at the time. It was so hard to create a different outfit each day. But yeah, I take an outfit of the day, as we call it nowadays, and post it every single day. And I found a lot of little people getting in touch to say thank you for creating that platform so they know where to get clothes from.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to buy clothes as any woman, any man, let alone being 3 foot 8.
Yeah. And did you get some negative comments as well? Did you get people online not being quite so nice?
Yes, I did. I got loads of hate comments, but then the other side of it was that I often was sexualised by men.
Oh, really?
Even if I was wearing like a coat and trousers, and I mean like a big puffy coat and leggings or trousers, my whole body's covered.
Yeah.
Or when I was posting bikini photos for body confidence, no other reason, I would get the same response. So no matter what you were wearing or what I was wearing, I would have been sexualised.
So was that part of the motivation for you to think, OK, so this is how I'm being viewed, I'm getting all this sort of attention, why don't I try and post things that are a bit more provocative as well?
Absolutely. I thought, why don't I just take risks by the head and tail and just do it? Because once you're online, there's no hiding yourself. Like, I'm going to be laughed at in the street. I'm going to be throwing comments up. So I thought, why don't I just
Own it.
Go out there, own it, do it. And once I was getting this sort of attention, I stopped posting for a bit. And then Guy, my other half, suggested, why don't you make money from it? Why don't you monetize this? Get your confidence back up and create a platform. Go on OnlyFans. Go on Insta, post these more sort of lingerie-esque photos.
And what was your initial reaction when he said that to you? Actually, this is quite a good idea. I'm going to take my power back. And maybe, you know, the people who then get in touch are fans anyway.
I was actually quite nervous to begin with.
Yeah.
Because of the connotations that come with the site. Although anybody can put any content on there, from trains to makeup to what I do.
Right.
I held back. And then once I did it, it was the best thing I've ever done.
Why?
Because I'm taking that power back as a woman in today's age. I'm creating positivity for people with my body. My body's not often seen on magazines, in the media, especially in swimwear or sort of lingerie.
Yeah.
So let alone everywhere else.
Yeah.
And this is what people with dwarfism need to see too.
And also, of course, it's monetised. You're finally getting people that pay money regularly to see your content, whatever you're creating as well. How did that feel to suddenly be making money from it?
Incredible. I was a broke student at the time that I started, so to be able to earn my own money, it's not easy for me to go out and stack supermarket shelves, of course.
Yeah.
So to work from home and have those hours where I can work 3 hours a day, so we can have any job to a certain extent, but I like the time sort of freedom I have. So I can work 3 hours a day, go walk the dog, go and buy some clothes, go on adventures with Guy. We went to Scotland for 4 weeks because I can just work from my phone so easily. So yeah,
That's brilliant. And so what's the varying amounts that you get, and has it increased as you've been doing it? Is there even kind of more interest?
It varies so much that I can't really say a figure.
Right, okay.
Sometimes it isn't as much as people think, because
Right.
once you invest it back in, dresses, shoes, hair, makeup, nail appointments, like
But you can make thousands of pounds a month.
yes, you can.
So if you have a good month.
Yeah.
And equally, so your partner Guy, you've been together, is it 2 years?
2.5 years.
2.5 years
Almost
you've been
3.
together now. And he helps you with the content as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he's a marine engineer, gets his hands dirty in an engine room on super yachts, and managed to teach himself how to market, how to take photos, how to do the Instagram algorithm in a matter of months, which took
Wow.
me 6 years to do.
And what do your family and friends think about it? Do you have a good reaction?
Yeah, they're so positive about it, and they're so pleased that I've managed to go out there and forge a career for myself and not have to worry about me, either financially or sort of worry about me still being at home. I moved out at 19.
Yeah.
So they love that and they're so supportive. Even my mum's got into latex now. She got
Really?
a latex skirt for her birthday. She's going to kill me for saying it. But, it is fabulous to see mum get into it too and to see her feel confident.
Yeah.
And
where I
the
work.
impact that you're having on your community as well must be really, really important for you.
It's massively important, especially for representation, especially growing up, because I didn't see that. When I got into my later teens,
Yeah.
when I wanted to start shopping for lingerie, I didn't see my body on these
Yeah.
posters. So I think it's nice to give girls confidence and late teenage girls in their 19s sort of age to see that and to feel normalised.
And what's the future for you,
Yeah.
do you think, Kate?
For me, I'd absolutely love to do some more magazine work, some TV work. I'd love to work with some more brands. Yeah, just really get out there and make the most of what I'm doing whilst it's here.
That representation piece is huge now as well, isn't it?
It's if you can see it, you can be it, and yeah, it's inclusion. Yeah, it's brilliant.
And you feel safe doing it as well? There'll be people who will be concerned that, you know, with the advent of posting more provocative stuff, sometimes you can get unwanted attention as well. That doesn't concern you?
No, I'm in complete control of what I post because it's just myself doing it.
Yeah.
I know what I'm putting out there. I know sort of what I want to put out there, what will be seen, what will be saved or otherwise. So it's nice to have that freedom.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being here this morning and having a chat to us. Thanks, Kate.
Great to meet you, Kate.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Oh, hello.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. And there's lots of conversations recently about deep fake technology, where artificial intelligence can be used to create fake but highly realistic content.
So imagine seeing yourself, explicit images of yourself online, but they're images that you never took.
That became a terrifying reality for our next guest, Kirsty Pellant. During a horrific ordeal, her social media photos were stolen by a former colleague and manipulated to make pornographic deepfakes. He then continued to post them online.
Kirsty joins us now to tell us more. Good morning, Kirsty.
morning.
Thank you so much for being here and just talking
Thank you for
to us.
having me.
Yeah, and talking to us about it. Let's go back to Valentine's Day 2017. That was kind of when it all started.
Yes. Yes, so I had a Valentine's Day card put through my letterbox.
Yeah.
Thought it was really random at the time, didn't know that doesn't normally happen to me. So, yes, all a bit odd. And then it was not until a little bit later, towards the end of the month, that I then had a message through my LinkedIn, my professional LinkedIn page, to ask if I'd like the Valentine's Day card. And it was a shame that we hadn't been able to meet up. And I was thinking, I don't know what this is all about. So then said that to this man. And he basically was saying, it just uncovered everything, that there had been so much out there about me, that he had actually been conversing with who he thought was me, but obviously it wasn't. So from that point, it completely snowballed. Obviously, I went to the authorities to alert them. And it's just been a bit of a whirlwind since, really.
So you had this message from this stranger on LinkedIn, which is a professional
Yes. Yeah.
business
Yeah.
social connection site, which people will be aware of. Fascinating that he felt like he could track you professionally through a pornography site and then come to a LinkedIn. Like the fact that they knew you, they knew your address, like a card got put through your letterbox. I find that worrying as well.
Yes,
So
apparently the address had been given to him from him.
So this person that created these profiles had given him the actual address.
Yes.
So when you start looking at what it is he's talking about, what did you discover, Kirsty?
I discovered that I was on so many inappropriate adult sites. Obviously, I've got well, not obviously, but I don't have any inappropriate pictures. I just don't have anything like that. But it was my head and shoulders off my profile pictures on Facebook that had been taken, and then some of them have been adapted. For example, there was one of me playing the Malteser game, and then because I'm blowing like that, that has then been changed into something completely different. But it was, as I say, it was the way it was very cleverly done, with keywords that were insinuating that I was something that I wasn't, that I was inviting people around to do different things.
I mean, these pictures that were created, too graphic for us to be able to show.
Absolutely.
What's that like, looking at a picture of yourself, which you know has been taken, and understanding there will be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people looking at this picture, and it not being you, and it being in that pose?
Logically, from where I am now, in a much different place, you can absolutely understand it, and logically you can see that that isn't me. But in that time when you're literally floored, because I mean, I completely changed as a person. So when you see yourself, it's like your mind completely messes with logic because you're having to. I mean, another thing was trawling through all these sites as well to find myself. So when you're looking at inappropriate content with your face there, and then there were videos as well of this lady from back in the 90s who was dark, slim, a slight build. She was again doing videos. That's what she did, but it was portrayed as if it was me. Oh. So, as I said, it does something completely strange with your brain because you're almost thinking, I was feeling guilty, I was feeling ashamed, dirty, even though I knew it wasn't me. It was the portrayal of it all, I think.
I think also what was so hard about it was what you did as a day job. What were you doing at the time?
So I was head of inclusion and welfare. Well, actually, when I started, I was welfare manager, but I had links with safeguarding at that point, and then I went on to become
at a school.
Primary school.
Primary school, so little ones.
And so did you start to see, because obviously there's what you've seen yourself and what you know yourself.
Yeah.
And then you're meeting people all the time, parents of the children that are at your school, etc. And you must be second-guessing all the time. Have they seen pictures of me? Do they believe it? Do they think they're fake, or do they really think it's me? It must be so hard.
And I think at the time there was quite a period that no one knew about it. It wasn't public knowledge. So I was just speaking with the police and trying to get on top of all that had happened. It did then get leaked into the local community. It was on, every place has a Facebook residence page, and it was all over there. And if I can say anything to anybody about, how many times we have to listen to about being kind, and if you've got nothing nice to say, then don't say it, because that was probably just as damning and damaging as the actual crime itself. Having people saying to me, don't touch her hand because she might have something, it was completely inappropriate. I had a journalist call me at the school to say, why should you keep your job in safeguarding? How can you prove it's not you? It's so unhelpful. And it's, when you're a victim of something and you're experiencing that kind of almost like harassment in itself, isn't it?
Well, did that journalist then go on to do a story about how you were completely, your profile was
I don't think they did, no.
That's disgusting.
I don't think they did.
That journalist should have done that.
Yeah, because it's also like you're being attacked both ways then. Yeah. You're being attacked by the community and the people that you know, but also by this guy who's putting out all your information out there. You must have felt so frightened.
Frightened, alone.
Not safe.
Not safe at all, because, the police at the time had said to me, it's likely to be somebody in your close circle, which obviously I thought anyway, because a blog had been created and a website. So it was literally following me of all these things I was supposedly doing, going to a pub and then, sleeping with different people. It was all documented as to this amazing social life I had. And I think it has just been very isolating.
So, Kirsty, how did you then find the person that did it, and what happened?
Over a long, long time, a lady from Cornwall, another victim, had come across a fake Facebook profile of herself, and one of her fake friends on this fake profile, keep up with me.
Yeah, it's hard.
She also thought was a victim. Because of the way our names were on there, there's certain photographs. It takes a lot of research to try and get to the bottom of it. She contacted that victim. I knew that victim, and we'd already been linked anyway, so she then contacted me. We thought, brilliant, because fast forward now to September 22. There was still more content out there as well, actually, that we hadn't seen before. So we then thought, brilliant, we have all got a mutual friend in common. This can't just be a coincidence. And went to the police at that point, and it just wasn't hard enough evidence for them at that point.
So you thought you had them, you had this mutual
we were
thing,
so
and
excited.
The police went, no, it's not enough.
No.
And that's 5 years, Ben, since that story. That's so long.
So what was it in the end that was enough, Kirsty?
So the victim in Cornwall saw another victim in Cornwall, alerted her. She was closer to John. She then contacted the police, and that lady then found 9 USB sticks with lots of content on it. that was then the hard enough evidence to bring him in. And then I think it was March 23, he was then charged with the offences for us.
We just put a picture up of him there. This is the guy that did all of this to you. What was he to you? What was your experience of him in your life?
So we worked on one case study about a child that was, I think she was a child in need at the time, and he was a class teacher. So we basically had one piece of work together. He was a colleague at our school. Quite often, in the first year, he was on a different site to me. And then the second year, we were on the same site, but there was minimal contact. So he wasn't even on my radar.
No motive?
No.
Nothing?
And has he ever explained why he did it? To you
I
and the
haven't
other
seen him. So when I attended court, it was via video link, so I still didn't see him then either. But I do in the future, I would encourage a restorative conversation if that's at all possible. Nearer the end of his... I think you just want to know why.
Of course you
do.
And you want to have your say that actually this isn't OK.
So you'd like to meet him at some point and understand that?
Wow.
I mean, it's got to be him willing to do that, but yes,
You're
absolutely.
incredibly strong and very brave.
Thank you.
It helps you process, I guess.
Absolutely.
Kent Police have said that they carried out an exhaustive and thorough investigation into a report of online harassment, which was received in February 2017. The victim was kept updated throughout. We're pleased the case has now resulted in the offender being jailed for these terrible offences. We hope the sentence helps the victims as they continue to live with the long-term impact of these crimes, which is exactly what you're having to do. You are still living with this and what you went through.
And there's a bigger story as well that obviously we don't have time to talk about today, but there's still ongoing issues for some of us, which is not OK.
Yeah. Kirsty, thank you for coming in and being brave and sharing your story, because undoubtedly it will help people that are out there today. And,
I mean, the key thing for us is that we want change. Things have got to be better. And if there's a way that anybody is in contact with the MPs for safeguarding, Jess Phillips, and I think it's... John Healey as well, we would really encourage a conversation because there's bigger safeguarding implications that we want to discuss.
Yeah, there needs more protection.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Just makes my blood boil when you hear stories like this. Yvette joins us now. Thank you for coming in. It's not the easiest thing to come out and be open and talk about something like this, particularly when there's so much money involved.
Exactly.
Explain how you first met him.
So I met him on Tinder. We started to communicate. He was very, very attentive, showed, a lot of interest in my life, told me a lot about his early life, and then we started to communicate on a daily basis. I then went to Las Vegas and actually met him personally.
And what was that like?
It was nice. I mean, he spent a lot of time with me. He took me to his studio. He spoke about, some of the ventures that he was interested in doing. He spoke about a barbershop that he had set up. Spoke about having professional athletes that would be using the barbershop when he fully established it. It was a nice holiday.
Yeah, and he was incredibly charming.
Extremely charming. He love-bombed me.
Did he?
Yeah.
Which is actually a theme that we've seen quite often with women who've been tricked by men along the way. Did your family meet him at any stage?
They did. So
what
he
did they
came
think?
to London twice.
Yeah.
I mean, he played, video games with my son, met my mum and met my nephew who's interested in music and, was spoke about maybe trying to help him, get in contact with sort of musicians and spoke about his studio to my nephew. So, yeah, he met my cousin as well.
Wow. So he's met the family.
Yeah.
He's doing all the right things.
Yeah.
You've got no reason to suspect him of having any ulterior motive.
No.
When did he start saying, Yvette, that he needed some money?
So there was a time, I think, before I actually went to Vegas, he was in Turkey and he spoke about having to share a room with someone and he found it really difficult. I think the person maybe was snoring or whatever. So, and I think it was also maybe his birthday or maybe just after his birthday. So he asked if I could lend him some money so he could get a separate room. And it was always lend and he would pay me back. So I was quite happy to do that. It wasn't a large amount of money. It was for a specific purpose.
Did he ever explain why he didn't have the money to do that himself?
I think he was basically saying that he was shooting videos and, you know, because he was trying to establish his studio, his barbershop, that took a lot more money than he anticipated. So he was basically short on money during that period of time.
And he had all these different ideas and dreams of what he wanted to do.
Ideas, and sent me a lot of information, a lot of documents, a lot of, photos of him with, established artists or established producers, and also always had a story.
Yeah, so he backed everything up, essentially.
Yeah, he sent me into a point, it was like, why are you sending me so much information? But I think he was laying the foundations.
Of course. And then, so it started off with small amounts, like you said, in Turkey, and he wanted to get a different room. And then it escalated.
It did.
Fairly quickly. How did that happen, and what figure did he ask you for?
So I think it then was that he needed some money to buy furniture for the barbershop. He was always saying, I'm going to be a millionaire, Yvette. I'm going to be a millionaire. You know, I'm going to have an app where the professionals, there was, I think, a new stadium that they were building in Vegas. He's going to, the barbershop is going to be open 24/7. He's going to have a shower. You know, he was having TVs in the floor. It looked very, very professional. And Yvette, can you lend me some money? I'm going to be a millionaire, and as soon as I'm established, I'm going to pay you the money back. So it started off from that, and then it would be, I had a backer and they, weren't able to come through with the money. Can you lend me that money? Because I've already paid, the proportion of the money that I needed to. So I just needed that little bit.
But he asked you to remortgage your house?
He did.
And now, are alarm bells starting to ring yet?
They were starting to ring. And in the back of my mind, I wasn't going to do it, but I started the process in the sense that I reached out to some, organisations, financial organisations, but I made it very clear that it was for him. And he provided his business plan. So I made it clear that it was for him, not for myself.
So you were essentially going through the motions to make it all seem as though you were trying to do it, but it could be stopped at any point, essentially.
Exactly.
When did you decide that actually this is when, as Ben said, when did the alarm bells go?
I would say it was very soon after that, because his demeanour towards me changed, because it wasn't successful, as I knew it wasn't going to be successful. And then his demeanour started to change. He started to back off a bit. And
so there was less communication. So, there was an extraordinary moment where he's being interviewed live on YouTube and something happened and there was an altercation. And off the back of that altercation, everyone was very concerned about his health and well-being. And all of a sudden, all these women started contacting the YouTuber and contacting the police. And that's when it suddenly became apparent that it wasn't just you in a relationship with this guy. There was lots of you. Yeah,
but by then he had actually ghosted me. He'd cut me off a bit.
So you'd completely lost all touch with him?
Lost contact with him, yeah.
So explain a little bit about this Facebook page, because there's now 4,000 women on this, or members of this Facebook page. Not all just in relationships, some of whom have lent him money for business reasons or whatever. How did that all come about, and what's it been like when you're suddenly contacting these people, realising he's done the same to them?
So basically, after finding out that there were a number of other women, so I'd contacted a friend of his, and his friend said to me that there were hundreds of women. It wasn't just in America and not just in London, it was all over the world. So wherever he went, there was a woman that he was in a relationship with, or made them believe that he was in a relationship with, and needed some money. So then I just started to go on social media just to see if I could actually speak to someone, to try and make people aware that this is what's going on. And then I found the Facebook page that Nicole Leonard had started, and she was actually a friend of the person who Lydell shot. So I started to communicate with her. She told me that there were a number of other women that had also approached her and told her that they were in the same situation that I was in. And then I became the moderator. So I have a lot of information from other women that are in the exact same position to myself.
So, Yvette, what do you want to achieve by speaking out? Because to me, it's mind-blowing that within this day and age and everybody having phones and social media and the internet, that he was able to do this even. It's important, I think, for you to take back control of it a little bit.
Definitely. Because, I mean, initially when I found out who he was, because he wasn't the person that he portrayed to me, I was devastated. And then I felt ashamed that I was duped by him. But by speaking to the other women, he does it so well. He's a professional. It's like his full-time job, you know, so he knows exactly what to say, when to cut you off. He knows how to play the game, and he plays it very, very well. But I needed to take back my power to make sure that people are aware that there are people like him out there.
And he's still out there.
He's still out there. And
we did reach out to Lydell for a right of play. He didn't respond to us. He has said this in the past on YouTube, though. These women gave me their money out of their own free will. How is that a romance scam? They gave me money and I gave them a good time.
I don't know what the good time that he's alluding to. As I said, it was always on the proviso. It's a loan. I'm going to pay you back.
Do you think you'll ever get it back?
I very much doubt it, because of the amount of women that there are.
I mean, it must be hundreds of thousands, if not more, dollars that he's had.
Yeah.
I know that you also tried to speak to PayPal as well with regards to this money and try and getting some of the money back. PayPal said, we never lose sight of the fact that we are entrusted to look after people's money. We take this responsibility very seriously and use advanced fraud and risk management tools to keep our customers and their payments safe. That hasn't helped you, unfortunately, at this stage.
Me.
And I guess your point is just be conscious when you're out there.
Be conscious, be aware, you know, do research when you meet someone, you know, go online, put their name in Google and find out a bit more about them, because, you know, how people portray themselves isn't necessarily who they are.
No, absolutely. Well, Yvette, you're helping loads of other people just by being here, for sure. You're absolutely beautiful. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. Now, forget the nativity. Our next story is a modern-day Christmas miracle.
Yeah. It's going to sound surreal, but it is all absolutely true. On Christmas Day, 24-year-old nursery worker Kaylee was rushed to hospital after waking up in agonising pain.
But Kaylee and her partner Nick were in for the shock of their lives when doctors informed them that Kaylee was in fact 8 months pregnant and in labour and due to give birth at any moment.
Kaylee was one of the 300 women in the UK every year who experiences something called cryptic pregnancy.
Now, thankfully, Kaylee gave birth to a beautiful and perfectly healthy baby girl on Christmas Day. Kaylee and Nick and their beautiful baby Holly join us now alongside Dr. Sarah to tell us more. Good morning.
Morning to all of you.
Good morning. I mean, she is just absolutely beautiful. And also, Katie, can I also just say, she's, 3 weeks now or something like that?
3 weeks, Wednesday, yeah.
You look absolutely amazing. I didn't look like that after I had my babies. I was, like, worn out. You look great. But this is one of the things. You basically didn't change at all physically, and you didn't feel any different either.
No, not at all, really. It was only 2 weeks before that I was sort of really unwell.
And that 2 weeks before, you just thought you'd been out for a curry, the two of you, and you just thought maybe it was a little bit of indigestion or something like that?
Yeah, because we went out for, like, a couple of drinks as well, but I didn't have, like, a lot to drink, so it wasn't enough to make me sort of...
Think you were hangover or...
Yeah.
But then after about 2-3 days, it all went, so I went back to work as normal, and then it was only Christmas Eve that it... all started.
So you'd been, and there's this extraordinary part of this. It's all extraordinary. You had no idea for the whole term of your pregnancy you were pregnant. You had no idea till you got to hospital, something was wrong, that you were actually about to have a baby. But Christmas Eve, you'd been working, you were a nursery nurse, so you worked with families, and one of the mums turned around and said, oh, it's my child's birthday on Christmas Day tomorrow.
Yeah, so because I sort of remembered, because I was like, oh, they're it's their birthday tomorrow. Like, I couldn't imagine having a baby Christmas Day. So I kind of jinxed myself a little bit.
I mean, just a bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
Just a bit. Nick, take us back to the beginning. How did you guys meet and where?
So we went out Christmas Eve, me and my friends.
Yeah.
And the...
This is 2023, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
And the friends of me and Kaylee turned up later together. And funny story, because I actually said to one of my friends, I wonder if Selena's friend is good looking.
I see. So you'd heard she was coming.
So she walked up the stairs and I went, yeah.
Yeah, she is. So you sort of were smitten quite early on, became very close and spent this year together. Nick, had you talked about starting a family? Had you sort of thought that far ahead?
No, we literally was just planning stuff, like holiday. Just nothing really.
Just having a lovely time getting to know each other.
Enjoying each other.
And Kaylee, you both went on lots of different adventures over the space of this year. So from 2023 Christmas time to 2024, what were you doing? You went all over the world.
Yeah, so I went Magaluf in July.
Yeah.
And I worked it out. I must have been about 3 months pregnant when I went Magaluf. I went to Amsterdam. We went to Turkey. I had girls' weekends out. Like, I can't remember where I went, but I've had a few girls' weekends as well.
But you even went like whitewater rafting. Like you were doing physical challenges as well.
Yeah.
And you never once thought, oh, this doesn't feel right, or you noticed anything any different?
No, like, I think because I was enjoying myself so much as well, I just carried on doing it. But
You're quite tiny, and obviously little Holly's tiny, and you didn't show? There was no physical indication that maybe that there was a baby coming?
no, I didn't put on any weight at all during the pregnancy, which was quite weird because a lot of people said to me it would show quite quickly. For someone like you, it was only when I woke up Christmas Day that my stomach sort of swelled up a bit.
Right.
But I thought that was just because I was unwell.
Yeah.
But
So you've gone into hospital, you've been rushed to hospital. When was the first time someone said, oh, I think you might be going into labour, I think you're having a baby?
it was when I had got to the hospital because they just rushed me into like an emergency ward and they were doing all different things. Like they did an ultrasound on me. But then they walked off and was talking amongst themselves. So I was thinking, what's going on? Like,
Sure.
you've just left me.
Yeah.
But then they came over and was like, oh, there's a baby in there. And that's all they said. But they said they're ready to come now.
What do you think?
Yes, what went through your mind?
I was just like, at the time, I was worried because I was thinking all the things I've done.
Yeah.
I just hope the baby's healthy. That was the only thing going through my mind at the time.
Were you in the room with her at the time,
I was
Nick?
outside, so I didn't have no idea.
So when was the first time you heard that there's a baby coming?
45 minutes later, I was like a bit worried, and I was like, "Can I see Kaylee? Is she all right?" Eventually, I went in, saw her. She was quite white, pale,
I'm sure she was.
and she literally first words were, They've told me I'm going into labour." I was like, "How's that? How's that happened?" Like,
And so then what happened? Did you ring family? Did you ring your mum? What were the next steps?
So I managed to, like, when I was in the ambulance, I just about managed to sort of get in contact with my mum because I had let her know in the morning that I'm waiting for an ambulance because we had to call again because the symptoms got worse. So then they came quicker to come get me.
It's Christmas Day, by the way, as well. Like, everyone's got a lot going on. You're thinking, I want to be opening presents and having a lovely time.
She was like, what hospital are you going to? What hospital are you going to? But I didn't know at that point. I waited till I was in the ambulance and they were like, oh, we're going to Queen Elizabeth. And so my mum was like a maniac and got to the hospital like so quickly. But I think she was shocked because she didn't know where I was because I couldn't even tell her where I was.
No.
And they told her, oh, she's on the maternity ward. And she was like, what?
And so after you had Holly, what was your reaction? Were you still in shock a little bit?
I was like, I fell in love with her instantly.
Instantly.
But I was in so much shock. I was like, what has happened? Because it was just all such a blur to me, like, at the time. But
It's extraordinary, Sarah, listening to this story.
Wow.
Kat's had 2 kids. I've been through. We've got 2. There was no way that you didn't know that my wife was pregnant. You know, the idea that he's gone through that much time, no physical signs, not really much illness or anything, cryptic pregnancies?
Cryptic pregnancy. So this essentially just means that you're going through a pregnancy and you only find out in the late stages, or in your case, during labour. And it's rare, but it's actually not as rare as you might think. It occurs in around 1 in 2,500 pregnancies. So, you know, rare, but still it's happening.
Yeah.
And it can happen for a number of reasons. So firstly, it might be that you don't get the same symptoms as most people. So you might not have the morning sickness or the breast tenderness or the weight gain. Or it might be that you have those, but you misinterpret them or attribute them to other underlying conditions. It might be that you have irregular periods anyway, or erratic periods, or on a contraception that means you don't get periods. And so when you miss 9 months of periods, you're not really paying that much attention to it. But it's unusual that you have obviously gone through it without any physical changes. And I think, you know, I was trying to wrap my brains how this could be the case. And I was thinking, you know, it could be that you've got really good abdominal muscles, which means that it keeps it all in. It could be that you have a placenta that lies posteriorly, so at the back, and so rather than at the front, so it conceals it a bit. It might be that you've got what we call a retroverted uterus, so a womb that lies and tilts backwards rather than forwards. And it's obviously, Holly's quite a small baby as well, so it might just be that, you know, she's quite small, the amount of amniotic fluid might have been less, and it might be that she could have been lying transverse, so sideways rather than forwards or at the front, where it might not show quite as much. So, you know, I've been trying to rack my brains over how you were so smaller with it all, but that's what I've come up with.
Actually, it's extraordinary. Holly's absolutely fine. She's doing really, really well. Yeah. I imagine the fun you had sending pictures to everybody on Christmas Day saying, I'm absolutely fine, but someone to introduce you to. Your mates must have been absolutely... What did they make of it?
One of my friends thought I'd photoshopped it.
I bet they did. They thought it was like a Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some of them, like, I waited quite a bit after having her before I started telling, like, other people. I told, like, the immediate people first, obviously. But I said, oh, something happened Christmas Day. And then she was like, why, what happened? What's wrong? And I said, oh, I had a baby. She was like, literally, she didn't believe me. She's like, you need to send me a photo. Like, so I sent her a photo and she was like, no, you photoshopped.
Oh, well, listen, she's absolutely beautiful.
She really is.
Perfect. And look how content she is. She's so good. And you look amazing.
Congratulations, both of you.
Wishing you every happiness in the future.
Thank you. Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Before all of that, our next guest, Sophie Larissa Weiss, is a boxing, wrestling and martial arts enthusiast.
But she actually makes a living as her alter ego, the Barnsley Basher, where men pay up to £500 an hour to be wrestled, dominated and pinned down by her.
Well, Sophie's here to explain more about her unusual job. Good morning.
Morning,
Good morning.
Good morning. You know, obviously, you're so fit, you're so athletic. How did you start doing this?
So it all started with a guy that saw a fitness photo of me, then he just messaged me, then it all went from there.
When you say he just messaged you, what did he ask?
So he was like, can you lift and carry me for an hour?
For an hour?
For an hour.
Did he give you a destination where he wanted to come from and go to, or?
Yeah. So he obviously offered me a price, and at the time I didn't have much money, so I was like, yeah, why not? I'll give it a go. I liked the challenge. Then he sort of told me about the wrestling. So I sort of thought, oh, that sounds a bit scary, but then I thought I might try it. So then I obviously did. So
this one client that you had back then, is he still a client of yours now?
No.
No. So he started this whole thing.
Yeah.
It was his intrigue in you, whether you could lift him and carry him around, and then he sort of ventured the idea of wrestling.
Yeah.
Had you had any experience of wrestling before that?
No. Not wrestling. It was never like my thing. I didn't even know it was something I'd ever do, but my dad used to want me to go into martial arts, so he wanted me to get into karate, Thai boxing, stuff like that.
I used to turn up to the classes and just keep the money, but he sort of figured out.
Because he would pay you to go. He'd pay you to go along.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were just taking the money.
Yeah, but he figured that out. He sort of knew. He used to like drive past the house and see the lights on, so he knew that I was still in and I'd not gone.
And your dad was actually a bodybuilder. Is that where your love of fitness came from?
Yeah. I wasn't really into the gym and stuff when I was younger. I was quite lazy. I was like a lazy teenager.
So what changed?
I think because I had like an eating disorder, like in my 20s. So I sort of was struggling with that, went underweight and stuff. Then my dad's just basically said, you don't really need to do that. Like, it's not that's difficult. It's not that complicated. So
they started helping you with your nutrition.
Yeah.
And once you started getting help with your nutrition, you started enjoying the idea of looking after yourself physically as well.
Yeah, because it's just literally, you don't have to, like, diet and exercise. It's more eat and train.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just a better way of life, I guess.
Of course.
Yeah.
So how often do you train now and what's your diet at the moment?
I've not been training as well as I usually do because I've been travelling a lot, but round about, I still go to the gym, but my jiu-jitsu, I haven't really been doing that as much because I've been too busy to do it. But yeah, I go like 6 times a week to the gym.
And when you say you're busy, it's because you this career of yours and the bespoke request you're getting has sort of really exploded, hasn't it? You're starting to get requests from men, not just as this first guy wanted, which was to be carried around, but to be wrestled and pinned down. What's their motivation, Sophie, to have you do this to them?
Their motivation, they just like to struggle underneath a woman and like test a woman's strength. But it's empowering as a woman to do something like this because you sort of think, oh, these moves do work.
And would you say you have a typical customer? Like, what's your demographic? Is it always the same type of person that turns up?
Pretty much. Like, I'd say the most common is 40 plus.
Right.
Like the age range. Then, yeah, they always turn up in like baggy shorts and a baggy top with a backpack, a bottle of water in their hand.
Ready for action.
Yeah, ready for action.
And have they told you where this comes from? Because obviously there's something in them that they've either seen or they've done where it's like, yeah, I want to do that.
James Bond.
James
Is it
Bond.
really?
Yeah, like a lot of them say that. James Bond.
There was a particular James Bond.
It's the lady that sort of scissors the guy.
Famke
Jensen played Onatop,
I think she's called Xena or something like that.
Yeah, Xena Onatop.
Something like that.
Oh, yes, definitely, Onatop.
Yeah.
I know, don't worry. That's it, but that scene, she flips in and then she uses her thighs, doesn't she, to sort of garrote people.
I haven't really, like, properly watched it, but I've seen, like, snippets of it, and because I was really curious, I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is it a thing? Like, why has it started this whole fetish off? So
Sophie, let's talk detail then, because this is a business now. You have an OnlyFans account. You're not doing the sort of the more sort of nude stuff on OnlyFans. You say that doesn't really work. This sort of more bespoke fetish stuff really is. How much? So we were saying it's about £500 an hour, but how much are you making from this sort of form of fetish with your clients?
It's hard to put a price on it because it varies depending on how much effort I put in, where I am, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's changed my life for the better.
What have you done with all the money? Because you've earned a fortune from it now. What have you done with all the money you've earned?
So I've got an apartment in Bulgaria, then I've got my own house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's all right.
Clearly profitable.
Do you enjoy it, Sophie?
Yeah, I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
What is it you love about it?
I love the empowering side of it, the challenge of it, and just bullying men. I think it's quite fun.
Do you ever feel unsafe? Because you must have to really think about the safety aspect of it as well.
Yeah, like I do have thoughts in the back of my head, like thinking, oh, what if something could go wrong? But it's usually been okay. The guys are usually fine.
And what do you do to ensure your safety?
I have like my own safety protocols that I do.
Right.
You know, ask for references is one of them from other girls.
Yeah.
Right.
You can sort of search the guy's name on the database and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
Because if there's anything bad, then yeah.
Now, look, I think if we've got you here, we'd love for you to give us a demonstration of some of the moves that that people can pay you to do. Unfortunately, medically, I'm not allowed to take part in this trial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it your hatred of hash browns?
It's my back. However, fortunately, one of our team is willing to sacrifice himself. Shall we head over, Sophie, and you can
Lovely,
just... This is David, one of our team, who's still got the script in his pass on.
Yeah, he's done several marathons in his time.
He's a super fit young man. Have you ever done anything like
Hold on. Someone's got to take my glasses.
Have you ever done anything like this before, David?
No, and I'm a bit worried. I don't want to get injured. I'm training for London Marathon, so...
Yeah. How many marathons have you done?
12.
12 marathons.
I don't want to injure myself.
It's not a walkover then, Sophie. So do you want to explain a little bit about what you might do?
Do we have to start nice and easy?
Yeah, because I don't want you to dislocate.
You're not going to flip me over like the other chap, so...
No, I can't go too brutal on you.
OK, thank you.
So let's get down on our knees.
OK. What, is he just going in like that?
Going in like that.
Whoa!
What?
Come on then, try and get out then.
Yeah, come on, you've got to struggle.
I can't get out.
Come on, David.
Try and get out,
Come on, David.
Come on, David. 12 marathons.
Now, look, your legs are your power. Use your legs.
Come on.
David.
What about your core? Activate your core,
David. Where's your core, David?
Come on, you're going to do better.
Come on, David.
Oh,
Come on, David.
Come on, David, you can do it.
David, anything?
No.
There's a £250,000 in the other corner of the studio. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, he's down.
He's tapped out. Oh, you're coming over the top. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
So,
right.
Now what? OK.
Oh, OK, yeah.
There we go. Yes. No, now.
It's a good job you took your glasses off, David.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's a very good job you took your glasses off.
And there's an arm bar there, David. How's that feel?
Yeah.
They won't WWE like tag you in, you know?
No
We'd love to do it, David, for you.
And so when you're actually wrestling with the... Oh, hold on.
Again.
We still got more.
Again.
There's more.
Do we have a ref?
We could have got someone in, surely.
Is this the old sleeper? This is the sleeper.
Lovely. Sleeper.
Sorry, I forgot to speak from all the moves.
No, this is quite difficult to speak.
Okay.
I have to say.
Excellent.
Oh,
Are you tapping out again? There you go. Well
Lovely.
done.
Let's hear it for David, everybody.
I already took one for the team there.
You really did. You took 3 or 4, I think.
Yes, you did.
Sophie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sophie.
It's a fascinating insight into what it is that men enjoy, and certainly your career choice.
Yeah.
What do your family make of it?
My family are fine with it. I've obviously told them everything about it, and they just let me get on with it.
And it's clearly very lucrative as well. If you've been able to buy your own house, you've got a place abroad as well.
Yeah.
Things are looking good.
I just love the fact that she looks as glamorous now as she did before we even started.
As does David.
Shirts on top.
My friend.
Oh, gosh.
Welcome back to the world.
They might steam
How
up.
am I out of breath when I've done it since late on the map?
I'm fine.
They just rough you up a little bit. There you go.
there you go.
Look. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Now then, we're talking cuddly toys that are renowned for their quirky designs and irresistible softness.
Jellycats have soared in popularity in recent years, with lots of the sought-after toys reselling for more than double their retail price. And someone who's a huge fan is our next guest, Sally-Ann Redman, who's collected nearly 300.
Yeah, it's about 280 at the moment.
Wow.
But I've seen what's coming out this year.
So you're excited about the future purchasing?
So how many do you have here, Sally?
In the studio. I've actually got 130 because I brought a few more.
That haven't made it up here?
No, they're here.
There. And then Dan is going to be here and you're going to be talking to us about all these collections. Because these have kind of gone through the roof, haven't they, Dan?
We are living in the world of nostalgia, aren't we? We all love it. It makes us feel warm and cuddly inside. And the crazy thing is, now, Jellycats, it doesn't seem like that long ago, 1999, that they were launched. But there's a thing called Laver's Law. And Laver's Law basically says it used to be that every 100 years, things would come back in fashion. Now, because of globalisation, because of social media, and because the world is a much smaller place, actually, things are coming into fashion again in about 15 to 20 years. So all of those kids that were around in the 1990s are now wanting to complete their collection. So we're seeing not just we're seeing an absolute explosion when it comes to Jellycats, the value of Jellycats. We're seeing collaborations with Harrods. We're seeing collaborations with Selfridges where you can go and get fish and chips.
Yeah, it's like an experience. This is on the toy floor in Selfridges. I took my boys the other day and I couldn't understand what was going on. So it's actually a toy.
So this is a plush toy and they are emulating fish and chips being made. We've also got bakeries in Paris where, you know, you can buy Jellycats as croissants.
They're not edible.
No.
They're not edible. They're not.
No, they've just
You've also got Harrods where you can buy the tea set. So really clever.
Yeah.
Really clever.
Clever bits of marketing. So, Sally-Ann, when did you fall in love with Jellycats then?
I did buy a few when they started in 1999, just little tiny ones.
OK.
I don't have those anymore, but I suppose when I first met my late husband, he started buying me them for Christmas and birthdays, and that kind of escalated to if we were having a day out anywhere, we'd go to a Jellycat shop and he'd get me a Jellycat. So... And he used to give them silly names as well. But,
and they slowly grew, and your collection now is pretty spectacular. You've got a couple in your hands. So these are special ones to you?
These are the specials. This is the first one that I absolutely fell in love with. And I suppose after buying him, I spiralled into collecting so many.
What was it about him that you particularly loved?
I just loved him, and I think it was that... my husband used to muck about with him.
Right, OK. So
and it was just something that made me happy, and he did it to
got
make
a Taylor
me happy.
Swift bracelet on as well, hasn't he, around the neck?
Well, no, it's just got his name on it.
OK.
It didn't come with
a lot of them.
No, I was going to say.
No, a lot of them have got their names on.
OK, so there's that one and the other one?
This one is Shep. When my husband passed away, his nickname was Shep, my husband, so I decided to get a black and white dog, and this does contain some of his ashes.
Oh, how lovely.
So I've got something to cuddle
hold on
forever,
to.
yes, and he will go places with me. So these two are the favourites.
And so if they do mean so much to you, how do you decide which ones to sell or which ones to give away? Or...
I think what it is, I could go into a shop and buy 3.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll fall in love with 2. And then the other one, it's like, oh, bye-bye, bashful squirrel. You just don't fit in. I've never made a loss on any.
No. And why? They've doubled in value.
Oh, my
Like,
goodness.
what kind of figures are we talking?
Not just doubled, some of them have tripled, some of them have gone up 10 times. So, for example, even the new one in Harrods, the tea set, which is going for about £100, they're now going on the internet for £200. And someone on the internet is actually selling 2 sets for £429.
So they've gone and bought that from wherever they've got it, and then
Harrods.
they're selling it for more online because they know the demand's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the world has gone Jellycat crazy. It really has. But we've seen this in other toys as well.
Yeah.
So we've seen this in, for example, Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies in the late 90s absolutely exploded in price. And what I would say to viewers, although this is really fun and the Jellycat craze is fun to jump on, don't spend too much on these Jellycats because, a word of warning, with Beanie Babies, for example, the prices went down quite quickly in 1999 when all of a sudden they started retiring a lot of the Beanie Babies and they started introducing a lot more, and people started going, well, hang on a second, maybe this isn't a wise investment, and the prices dropped. So do what Sally-Ann's doing, which is actually collect because you love to collect.
Yeah. Who thought investing in beanbags wouldn't be a wise investment? I mean, it's... so when it comes to yours then, Sally-Ann, what's the most you've spent on one?
The most I spent on one that was retired would be the very scruffy puppy here.
This guy?
Yeah.
This guy.
He goes with my dress.
He does, he really does.
Yeah.
He's a good accessory
And how
for
much would he
me.
have cost you?
That's Scruff Pup, and he was retired in about 2014, I think, and I paid about £100 for him.
Right.
But he would have originally retailed at £14.
But then you've also sold pieces of your collection. So how much money have you made from the pieces that you've sold as well?
Well, I've never added it up, but sometimes I sell ones that, like I said, I don't fall in love with, and that gives me some money to buy one that I really do want.
So it's sort of everything that you get, you reinvest into the collection anyway?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So, Dan, if we were to offer some sort of sense of what the value of the collection is. What do you take on it?
Well, first of all, when we look at Scruff Pup there, yes.
He's not talking about me, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I am. No,
it really does accessorise beautifully with your outfit.
Yeah, so Scruff Pup, you paid quite a lot, £100.
Yeah.
On the face of it, you paid it too much. However, they are starting to now sell occasionally for £100 in great condition. So actually, you've broken even. And again, Sally bought that because she loved that one. But if we look at the other ones, for example, we've got the Lux bunnies here, which are absolutely fabulous. They were... How much did you purchase these for?
This one I bought for 33, but he sells for 60 now, and that's within a couple of months.
And within a couple of months, it's doubled in value?
Yeah.
And keeping the tags on is important?
Absolutely, Ben. Yeah, but actually, some of these are now selling for 75, so they've actually gone up.
They're going up more.
And what happens? Do they just release a certain number and then those are gone and then the new ones come through? Is that what happens?
Well, they're very clever, you see. A lot of these companies retire theirs. And so rather than saying we're just discontinuing them, what they do is retire. And so therefore there's this air of exclusivity and prestige. I want that bear and prestige. And the same with limited editions, all perfectly above board, but it does ramp up the prices. So people like Sally, ultimately, if they want a bear, have to start paying over the odds. But when we look at this collection, so we've got about 130 here, haven't we?
Yes.
Now, looking at some of them, some are worth a little bit more than others. Certainly, a lot of them have at least doubled in price. So you're looking for this lot about £3,000 to £4,000.
Oh my Lord! I didn't know. I had no idea.
Wow!
I've got some better news for you, Sally Ann. You've got lots more at home. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, I've got more at home.
And also, it brings you so much pleasure and happiness and joy.
And it's fabulous talking to her about it because she's so passionate. But her entire collection's worth about £8,000 to £10,000.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not selling them.
Just cutting them away.
Not selling. Well, some of the viewers at home have been sending in their collections. Emily's got one here. She has 230 Squishmallows. Her youngest daughter, Letty.
They're quite new. Squishmallows quite new?
Yeah.
Yeah. They are, yeah.
My boys quite like them. They've got a giant banana and a
OK, Michelle sent us her collection. Her daughter collects Care Bears.
Yes.
She prefers the original ones to the new ones. This picture isn't all of them. They're beautifully.
Now, this one here is from Kelly. She's got an 80s toy collection. And if you look really closely, there's everything from strawberry shortcakes to glowworms. I mean,
Guys,
give me an hour in that room.
Do you know what? I might get in trouble for doing this.
Go on.
But I would love it if we could arrange for me to go and see this viewer and do a trash or treasure with them because that is an amazing collection.
Yeah,
Shall we do
as
it?
we showed Dan that picture, his eyes lit up. He would love Kelly to be able to come and actually properly examine what you've got. That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Jasmine has sent a picture of her Mimi and the Goo Goo collection. She's had since she was a little girl. She's 33 now.
Yeah. It's great. Absolutely. I don't have another one.
And then Angela.
Who's Angela?
Last one. This is something that Kat and I were talking about in the 80s when you used to have a collection of rubbers.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And the rubbers used to smell, but they had to stop making them smell because there was always someone in the class who used to get them stuck up the nose.
And
I used to eat them.
Did you?
Yeah.
You used to eat them?
Yeah.
I asked him who was the person in your class that used to put them up their nose.
It was me. It was me. You can't eat the rubbers now. Don't eat rubbers now. They don't smell anymore, so there's no joy and fun in sticking them up your nose. Not that there was back then. It was just really inconvenient. But
your poor mother.
Angela, we were exactly the same. We all had a rubber collection. That's fantastic. Sally Ann, thank you for bringing in all these amazing little toys.
Oh,
hello.
Thank
you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. First, though, after tragic circumstances left our next guest homeless at just 15 years old, he went into survival mode, which prompted him to start his very own gardening business.
Well, 19 companies and a collaboration with Sir Richard Branson later, Simon Squibb is now a millionaire who dedicates his life to helping people's dreams become reality.
Excuse me, do you guys have a dream?
She has a dream.
You have a dream?
I do have a dream.
What is it?
I want to be a singer.
Okay, sing.
Oh no, I'm shy. That's why my dream hasn't become reality.
9.4 million people follow me online. Last video got 65 million views. This is your chance to get noticed, get followers, and your dream to begin. So sing.
Well, the money that you give me is my business money.
Yes. What business would you do?
A pastry shop.
Oh, lovely. If you cook me and my team some pastries, and I like them, I'll fund your shop.
What?
We have approval from the big boss. OK, tell me your dream.
My dream is to make a clothing brand. I haven't gotten like the registering or like trademark for it yet.
Here's the money for the trademark. So you got some money to start your dream. Delete those games, by the way. Don't play those anymore. They're going to distract you. Business manager, right? There we go. Done. A business is born.
They're amazing, amazing videos. So I urge you to go online and find Simon and watch some of the videos. He's penned his first book as well, What's Your Dream? And you join us now this morning. Simon, lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good morning.
I've been watching your videos for a couple of years now. They've been popping up on my feed. I'm always fascinated by where the essence of what your question comes from and your history. Because, as we said in the introduction, you're a very successful businessman, family man, but your story is not an easy one, is it? You sort of had a great upbringing, but then suddenly this tragedy in your teenage years. Just explain a little bit about what happened to you and how bad things got.
Yes, I'm still feeling a bit emotional after watching this video because I know all these people and their dreams. But I was 15 years old when I was forced to become an entrepreneur. It wasn't a choice for me. When I was at school, I never was taught entrepreneurship. And now entrepreneurship is a very prevalent word. But when I was younger, I'm showing my age a bit, it wasn't really. You were an entrepreneur if you couldn't get a job. Yeah. So back then, it never really crossed my mind. And then, unfortunately, my father died suddenly of a heart attack. And a few weeks later, I found myself homeless. And I tried to get a job. But at 15 years old, everybody knows you can't get a job either.
Sorry, Simon, you find yourself homeless because you had sort of a big falling... I mean, it was a traumatic, emotional time for all of your family.
Yes.
You had a bit of a falling out with your mum.
Yes.
So you left home.
Yes.
And which is why you suddenly found yourself homeless, trying to work out how to survive on the street.
Yes, exactly, yeah. I think I always caveat this with, I was homeless for 8 weeks. So I wasn't institutionally homeless. I think homeless has lots of different types of homelessness. I find myself basically living rough for about 8 weeks, and I stayed on friends' couches, and people were kind and took me in, and I stayed in some family friend houses, and I managed to get myself off the street. But basically, I tried to get a job to sustain myself, and I couldn't get one because you need a national insurance card to get a job, and you need an address to get a job. So I couldn't get a job. I tried begging on the street, and that was really, really awful, of course, as you'd expect. And I basically realised that I have to do something. I describe this moment, the entrepreneur muscle woke up in my brain. Everybody listening's got this muscle. It's just whether or not you've woken it up and or use it. So this entrepreneur muscle is what creates this sofa. You have an idea, you make it real. This sofa we're sitting on was in someone's head once, and they made it real. And so I suddenly walked past a big house, and they had a messy garden, and my brain said, this entrepreneur muscle got used for the first time, and I said, they've probably got money to pay me to take care of the garden, and I desperately need to earn some money. So I took all this courage, and I knocked on the front door, and the person who answered, I said, I'm Simon Squibb, I've got a gardening company. You know I didn't. Is it possible I could take care of your garden and you pay me? And they said, sure, how much? And I just made a number up. I said £200 a month. Luckily, I said per month, by the way. I teach about this in my book. You've got to think long-term, not a one-off fee. Yeah. I said per month, and they said yes.
Yeah, and they let you use the tools that you didn't have either.
Exactly.
To be able to do other people's gardens.
You've read the book, which is awesome. Thank you for doing
that. And then, of course, you hadn't worked out that there was a winter.
No, I didn't realise in England we had a winter, which I don't understand, because I had been alive 15 years at that point. So I don't know why, but yeah, the winter came.
So then what happened?
Well, I basically built it up. I employed some of the homeless folks that I built up friendships with, and they helped me with the gardens, because it turns out I'm also a bad gardener. I didn't know that until I started doing gardening, and I managed to build it up. And I had money coming in. I got myself a house in a HMO, a shared room in a house, and I was free. I had a little business, and it was working. And then the rain started coming, and then everyone said, "Oh, we're not going to do our gardens now, Simon." So my first big business lesson, which is basically you've got to think long term about your business, and the business had to stop, and I then had to get a job. But by that time, this entrepreneur muscle in my brain had woken up. Yeah. And this is what I want to help everyone do: wake up that entrepreneur muscle in their head, so they have more options in life.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I got from the book as well is to not fear failure either. Right. You just spoke about there, you built up this business, you almost did the impossible, coming from being homeless and 15 years old, no equipment, you did it, and then it didn't work out. Yeah. But it's what you learn from those moments. And you actually talk about Jamie Oliver in here, and we've had Jamie on the show before.
I'm a big fan.
And he'd be the first person to sit there and go, you know what, I made mistakes, but I absolutely learnt from them.
Yeah, I think the thing is, what people don't realise is that fear is a superpower that we all have, and we're not leveraging it right. In the modern age, we think, oh, I feel fear around something. Someone asks you to do something. Like I was asked to go do a TED Talk. Instantly, I felt fear. But I said yes.
Yeah.
Because fear is actually a superpower. It's like what it used to be is a lion's coming running towards you. You can run faster. You can think differently. So you need to feel fear to push through risk. Because it's not the harder you work, the luckier you get. It's the more risk you take, the luckier you get. So if you can build up your fear, then you can take more risk, and that means you're saying yes to more things, and then later in life you don't have any regrets because you tried to do everything you should have done.
So you make it sound so easy.
Well, there's a lot of
really is
perseverance
actually
and
a lot
relentless
easier.
energy.
Yeah.
But you then created this huge business, Fluid, which then became a hugely successful business, and you've since, I think, over 19 other businesses that you have created and invested in. And one of the things that you're really passionate about now is helping people achieve their dreams.
Yes.
The clips that we showed was you just walking around, going up to people and asking people, what is your dream?
Yes.
I find it absolutely fascinating, the amount of people that you meet and you bump into and the range of dreams that people come up with. What have you been struck by with regards to meeting general public and introducing this as an idea on social media, Simon?
I think the thing is, what's really exciting is that people, you walk past some people you think have no dream. And so I walked past a guy, he was actually in the bins. I don't know what he was doing. You'd normally walk past this sort of person and be a bit scared. And I stopped and asked them their dream. And the dreams just blow me away. I mean, when you talk to people about their dreams, their eyes light up. Something changes in people when they talk about their dream. The problem is a lot of people don't think they're possible. They have what we call limiting belief systems. So they think, for example, starting a business is harder than working for someone else, which it's not true. It's not true. But people have these belief systems that they're so sure are true that they don't follow their dreams. And so, again, I tried to talk about this in the book, remove these limiting belief systems. But when people have a dream, that literally I can tell it's what they're meant to be doing, but people aren't necessarily anymore doing what they're meant to be doing. And I want to change that. I want to help people realise they can do anything.
And when you say you want to help, I mean, you bought a staircase.
Yes.
you put a Ring doorbell in
Yes.
there. And so anybody can go.
Yep.
They can talk to you about their dream and you help them make it happen.
So here's the beautiful thing. It started out, really, I just wanted to help the 15-year-old me.
Yeah.
And when I left school at 15, I realised I'd been in school 12 years and they hadn't taught me any of these things that were all teachable. You know, how money works, how sales work. Anyone can sell. Sales is how you get free. Teaching people that they can make an idea in their head and make it real. None of this was taught at me at school. So my original idea 5 years ago when I started this was just to help the 15-year-old me. It was quite a selfish endeavour. But I needed to find out what people's dreams were so I could help that 15-year-old me. But I've noticed now that, you know, with the doorbell, what's happening is we put this doorbell up in Twickenham and we said, if you've got a dream and you can't find me, there's only so many places I can be at once, you can now go to this doorbell and press it and pitch it. But here's the beautiful thing. When we put the dream up online, it's no longer just me helping, it's the community online helping.
Right.
So people have put their dreams up online, they've got funding in the comments, they've got a client in the comments. We just recently, a lady called Emma Wills, she got 300,000 followers now supporting her. She wanted to be a clothing social media influencer. She was getting on a bus, I asked her, now she is. In 24 hours, we've helped become what she wants to become. It's still up to her. But I think it's the community side that really excites me now.
Yeah.
Like, and with the doorbell, so Richard Branson is now
it's
also...
contagious, this energy that you have.
Yeah, now
Richard Branson.
He's such an icon for me. Yeah. When I was 15 years old, he was the only person I could reference. When I said I was an entrepreneur, people would say, you mean you can't get a job? And I'd be like, no, like so Richard Branson. And now he's working with us, and we've put a doorbell on the Virgin Hotel in Shoreditch.
Yes.
And from Friday at 9 a.m, you can go there and pitch to that doorbell, and myself and Richard will react to your dreams, and we're both going to promote you on our social medias. So this thing's growing, you know, it's the community growing, helping people's dreams, not just me, which is the bit I'm really excited about.
I think the word that Kat used that's so relevant, it's so contagious.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
Helping people sort of leads to helping people, and that community builds, and it becomes something that builds that momentum. It's really incredible.
Really true.
Yeah.
Simon, love it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
And thank you for coming on the show today.
Pleasure.
There's an audiobook as well, which is great that you read. Simon's book, What's Your Dream, is out tomorrow. It's just busting myths.
Honestly,
Get on
I'd urge
with
you
it.
to find
Do
Simon
it.
online as well and just watch some of the interactions that you have with those people. Because there was the woman that you've been talking to recently that's got her patties that are now she's done £30,000 worth of sales just from talking to you about the fact that she wanted to launch a patty business.
Oh, you should follow her too. I watch her videos every day. Her energy for doing what she loves. She's made vegan patties, for those that don't know, that basically are nutritious, tasty, and they make you healthy. For her, they made her healthy. So she wanted to make them for other people. But yeah, she's managed to get into 30 stores, and every single day she's on social media, dishing out her vegan patties, living her dream. It's just so inspiring. I get a lot of inspiration from the dreamers themselves. I watch them go for it. They have a bit of luck. We all need a bit of luck. So you could argue getting on my channel is a bit of luck, but you have to leverage that luck. You know, and that's
you've got to make the luck work for you, haven't you?
Totally.
Simon, thank you. Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. Almost 1 year since the XL Bully was put on the list of banned dogs in the UK, and attention has now turned to another breed.
Cane Corsos have increasingly been seen as a status dog after the XL Bully ban. Famous owners of the dog, which can grow to weigh 8 stone, include Vin Diesel and Marcus Rashford. But does its size pose the same risks as the XL Bully?
John Allison is the owner of a Cane Corso Vito here, who's alongside us, and Dr. Scott is sitting on the sofa too. Good morning to all of you. Good morning. John, lovely to meet you. And your beautiful dog.
He is beautiful.
Thank you very much. The most docile, extraordinarily charming dog.
Dribbling, gentle, giant.
Most dangerous trait.
Tell us, though, John, a little bit about the Cane Corso. When did you first start having this breed of dogs, and what's he like, generally?
Vito is he's 7 years old. He was my first Cane Corso. He came to me from Bulgaria at 5 months old. As you can see, he's a very loving, affectionate companion dog. He is big and powerful. You know, we're fully aware of that. But as you've seen today, he's very calm, very relaxed, very social, which is, you know, ultimately the most important thing when you bring any large dog into your family. But as you can see, he's a fantastic companion and absolutely adores affection of everyone around him.
Yeah, really is a gentle giant. Dr. Scott, tell us a little bit about this breed.
Yes, so Cane Corso, or Cane Corso, if you want to be posh, they are a very powerful dog that you can see. They're an Italian Mastiff.
Yeah.
Their lineage isn't fully clear, which is why they can't be registered with the Kennel Club. But they have descended from war dogs of Rome because they're very protectionist, they're a guard dog, and so they behave still in those same ways. And as you've already said, heavy dog, about 50 kilograms.
Yeah.
So that does mean that it is not a dog for the faint-hearted. It needs to be with someone like John here, very experienced, who is able to sort of control a dog with this much might.
Yeah.
You know?
So we were saying that it's about a year since the XL Bully has become a banned breed. Why is the focus now turned? Because when you see Vito here, you know, he's a big dog, but he seems incredibly docile and lovely and sociable. Why is suddenly the focus onto this breed?
Well, I do think it's mostly media-driven because certainly we were chatting before and neither of us are seeing, certainly in my veterinary practice, I'm not seeing a rise in them. They aren't on the dangerous dogs list, so therefore they're not a banned breed. So that means that they can be sold, they can be bred, and they can be owned normally. Compared to the XL Bully now, who they can no longer be bred in the UK, they can't be rehomed, can they? They must be microchipped, must be neutered, and must be muzzled at all times in public spaces. So if people are looking for a menacing-looking dog, sure. Yeah, this guy, you know, in a dark alley, he would be looking quite menacing.
Yeah.
But in fact, it isn't the dog that is the root cause of this problem. And certainly by meeting Vito, you can see very clearly that is not the case.
Absolutely. I think people kind of choose to use them as a status symbol almost a little bit and as a sign of power, I think, if in the wrong hands. But there have been attacks and very serious attacks too.
Yes. So quite recently, I think the media has turned their focus to this breed, and as a result, all of a sudden, these reports have come to light. So in October, there was a dog that had attacked and killed a gentleman's brother to the point where he's now serving 4.5 years in jail.
Really?
And there's been a number of attacks that have occurred throughout the course of 2024, which have come to light.
Yeah.
But that said, I would always say that every single breed of dog, no matter what kind of dog, has the tendency or has the ability to be dangerous. Obviously, the bigger the dog and the more powerful the dog, the more chance that that might turn into a life-threatening injury. But it's certainly not at the paws of any one particular breed as to why these issues are occurring. Instead, it ends up all being down to responsible dog ownership and education.
Your dog, John Vito, had his ears clipped before you got.
Oh yes, yes. So he came to me at 5 months,
Yeah,
5 months old. So
and the tail dog.
These puppies arrived in the UK already with an ear crop and a tail dock, which is actually common practice in a lot of these countries in Eastern Europe. You know, you see a lot of the dogs that do come from there. They do have these procedures taking place, and albeit that we don't agree with it here in the UK, and it is, you know, very much illegal within these nations. You know, we can't impact them.
No,
Just
you
wanted
would never
to explain
tell
that to
them
our viewers because they will be wondering.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about this with your family. I mean, you were clearly a very responsible dog breeder, a dog owner. You have a number of these and have had. But you've got a young family as well, haven't you?
Yeah, so I have 3 children who are, my oldest is 15 years old, so he's been around the dogs since they arrived. My younger 2 children, obviously, not so much. However, 3 and 1.
Okay, little ones.
Yeah. However, it's very, very important to note that regardless of the size of the dog, I would never leave my children unattended with the dog, regardless of a Cane Corso or a Shih Tzu. You know, it doesn't matter to me.
Whatever the breed.
Whatever the breed, no child should ever be left unattended. And I think what's really important to point out to that is, yes, everyone focuses on the dog, but young children's behaviour is erratic.
Yes.
We would then put the blame on the dog, albeit, yes, it's non-negotiable. Children, or anyone for that matter, should never come to harm. However, children can cause pain very easily to dogs. They pull ears, they pull tails, you know, they pinch skin, they stand on paws.
Yeah.
We automatically blame the dog. We need to, as parents and as adults, take responsibility for that and advocate for our dogs, ensuring that the dog and the child is never in that situation that they come to harm.
You've got a 15-year-old, and admittedly, like, you can have the best intentions when you are a dog owner, but there are occasions when suddenly you might need to nip out, and then the dog's on its own with the children.
So even at the age of 15, my son is never left alone.
Right.
You know,
and you wouldn't be able to walk him either.
No, and I walk the dogs.
Because I think it's a Vito 7 stone.
Yeah, 49 kilograms. Yeah, yeah. Don't get me wrong. When we are out together, I will absolutely let my eldest son hold the leash. I am there, and supervising that. But my children are never left home alone. And I know there will be people out there who say, well, I'll leave my 15-year-old home. That's okay. I simply don't.
You wouldn't. No. What do you think about the comparison now between your breed and the XL Bully? How is the Cane Corso different?
Well, the clear difference is that the Cane Corso or Cane Corso was bred for a working purpose. The XL Bully was bred for aesthetics. Looked very, it looked fantastic. It was a very beautiful looking dog.
Striking.
But it had striking, yeah, a great example. But it had no working purpose. The Cane Corso does, and as you see with many of the high-profile personnel throughout the country, the dogs serve as a guardian for their homes. When they are on national or international television, they have a dog there to protect their families. And those dogs that those guys and girls have, they're in training for up to 2 years.
Yes.
And it costs a significant sum of money. These aren't dogs who are just, let's buy a big dog and put it in this home. These dogs are carefully selected by responsible training companies with a lot of interactions with the families who are taking them in. Up to 2 years in training before those, people get them in the home without the trainer. So there's a lot goes on behind. The big difference that we have seen over the last, kind of 12 months is that, or the key thing we've seen, is that the laws brought in simply don't work. Right. That's the key. We've got it wrong again. Well, the nation have got it wrong. For me, the solution lies an initiative of education, licence and consequence. Now, we have 10.8 million households in the UK that own dogs, whether that be one dog or multiple, there's 10.8 million households. If we charge a licence fee per year, because let's remember, it's a privilege to own a dog, not a right.
Yes.
If we charge a licence fee of £40 per year, we could generate close to £500 million per year that could be reinvested into education in our schools.
Yeah.
Could be reinvested into safe areas and public spaces for dogs.
Unquestionably, sorry, John, I'm only pushing because we're a bit out of time. Unquestionably, Scott, a fee, £40 for responsible dog owners who want to have these breeds and look after them, they would all probably embrace that and think, I'd be very happy to put that money out there to license my dog and also put it into the support. It's not necessarily as easy as that to put into practice. What's your take on this as a breed?
Well, first of all, let's just say, so we've reached out to the government and they have said there are no plans to put them onto the dangerous dogs list. And just as John said, it's all about education and enforcement. Yeah. The RSPCA is kind of going, we told you so, and saying inevitably we will be looking to another breed to blame for dog attacks. And finally, from my perspective, I think it's using a dog as a weapon is the same as blaming a knife. So if we say we're going to ban knives, well, all the people that are responsibly using them in their kitchens can't use them. Instead, we need to focus on irresponsible breeders and irresponsible dog owners.
Yeah, I think well said. And John, you spoke so eloquently about it. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Something I'm extremely passionate about, you know. And
he is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thanks, Dr. Scott.
Thanks, guys. And well done, Vita, for being so
excellent
well behaved. I think better than some of the gladiators might be later.
I thought you were going to say me for a second.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. Then, it's the secret formula supposedly used by A-listers to help them easily lose weight without experiencing the negative side effects of weight loss jabs.
But what is microdosing, and could it be too good to be true? We're joined now by beauty editor Olivia Falcon alongside Dr. Hussein to tell us more. Good morning to both of you. Good morning. Dr. Hussein, let's start with you, first of all. What is microdosing? Just a tiny bit of something, essentially?
Yeah, so microdosing specifically in this instance, the weight loss injections, is using doses or dose intervals that are lower than what is licensed or what the manufacturer advises. So, for example, with tirzepatide, Mounjaro, the trade name, 2.5 milligrams is the lowest dose that you can be on. But in certain instances, some people are using it, for example, every 2 weeks rather than every week.
OK.
So the same dose, but then spreading out the injections?
Yeah.
So that counts as microdosing?
Yes, because the actual way that these are administered is through a pen, which automatically releases a single dose.
Right,
So you can't really effectively halve it.
Right.
In certain other instances and other medications, then sometimes we will, when it's, for example, a liquid or a tablet, and that can be done, or an injection where you can modify. But in this instance, it's being done by extending the intervals.
OK. So we're going to talk to Olivia in just a moment, who's been starting the microdosing herself. But from a medical professional's perspective, does microdosing work in your experience?
So if we look at this specific indication, where we're using Mounjaro tirzepatide, its half-life is about 5 to 6.5 days. So that's why it's given once a week. When you give it more and you have extended intervals beyond a week, then the drug would have pretty much gone out of your system. So you're going to be having varying levels of effects of the actual drug itself. So it isn't something that I personally would use with my patients, but it is something that some private clinicians are using as a kind of interim point between being on 2.5 milligrams, the lowest dose, and not being on it at all.
OK. Olivia, let's come to you. You look absolutely amazing. You look fantastic. When did you first start using the weight loss drugs?
So I started using the drugs in May of 2023.
Oh.
Maybe actually, no, April. I was feeling really, really unwell. I was going through the perimenopause. Yeah. I was coming up to sort of heading into my 50s. And I was I felt for myself, I felt quite overweight. I was the same weight I was when I was full-term pregnant with my first child. I had really bad lower back pain. I went to see a doctor and I did some blood tests, and they said to me that I was pre-diabetic and my cholesterol level was 6.6, which I think is fairly high.
Right.
So I had a friend who had been taking an injection called Ozempic, and I went to go and see her doctor, a private doctor in London, who suggested I start trying some of the injections.
Olivia, before you tried or spoke to that doctor and tried the injections, did you address any lifestyle changes that you thought might have helped as well?
So I started off with a functional medicine doctor. So they were the ones that ran all the tests for me, and they put me on a lot of supplements. I always exercise. I go to the gym 3 times a week, but I am guilty, I think a lot of people are, of maybe snacking. I kind of sometimes would get involved in my kids' dinner before my dinner. I had a glass of wine, you know. Throughout the pandemic as well, I put on some weight, you know, overeating maybe. So I did for about 3 or 4 months before I went down this route. I really sort of tried to be mindful, but, you know, I have a very busy lifestyle and it was quite unsustainable. And what I found with these injections is it has made, you know, keeping a healthy weight for myself much more easy and attainable.
But when you first started taking the full dose, the regular dose, did you start to get side effects? Is that why you leaned more into the microdosing?
So when I first started, I started on the lowest dose, and I just did this lowest dose for about 4 months. I sort of went very slowly and then upped the dose. I think the way you're meant to take them is they usually prescribe you do the lowest dose, and after a month you double your dose. But I sort of did the lowest dose for about 3 or 4 months. I did go up to a 1 milligram dose of Ozempic. And I did actually feel quite ill when I did that. I felt very, very tired. So I decided to go down.
When did you start noticing the difference it was having physically? We're looking at some before and afters there, which are...
Yes, oh my gosh.
I mean, you know, it's very apparent. You can see the difference in you.
Yes. So I think when I sort of went... the lowest dose for 3 or 4 months, I didn't initially notice much difference. When I went up a dose, that's when I noticed the weight come off. My lower back pain, which was really bothering me, went. My cholesterol reduced from 6.6 down to a 5.6. And I do regular blood tests with a doctor, and they said, you're no longer in the pre-diabetic zone. So it really has been quite remarkable for me.
And how do you administer the microdose? How do you do it?
Right. Well, I bought, just to show everyone, this is the pen. And it's usually, if you were doing this, it would be a weekly injection. It's like an EpiPen. But I'm doing this once every 2 weeks. And what you do to get the dose is you click the pen. Some people, I believe, don't click to the full dose. They do half the dose. But I'm just doing this every 2 weeks rather than every week.
Okay. And I'm guessing that one of the real benefits to this is the fact it doesn't cost you as much money, but you're still achieving results.
Exactly. Well, this is expensive, but for me, it's been money incredibly well spent.
How much is one of those pens?
It's about £180 a month, so it's not cheap. But I, you know, it really has been. I would pay more than that because it has really transformed my health. And I feel a lot better for it.
Olivia, what do you say to people who will be looking at this and going, for heaven's sake, you look amazing, you look fantastic, you're never in the benchmark to get these drugs on the NHS for free. We can talk about that in just a moment. And it was never intended for people of your size. You just needed to be a bit more disciplined. You just needed to be sort of a bit more on it.
I mean, for me, I was feeling really unwell, and I was heading towards being diabetic. So I definitely didn't want to go down that road. I think there are so many women going through the menopause that really are struggling. We all work, working mums. You just have such a busy lifestyle, and this has been such a helpful tool to really sort of not only reclaim my health, but I just feel so much better in myself as well. And yes, I wasn't ever obese, but I was clearly having some really bad physical symptoms.
And it affects your confidence, obviously,
100%,
as well.
Yeah.
Dr. Hussein, there's going to be ladies that are sitting, watching at home, that are hearing your story and it's ringing bells with them. What would be your advice about microdosing, and should people do it?
So, it's really complex. You know, obesity as a condition, we know is so complex. There's big genetic components, there's strong environmental elements. And what I would be very careful about is that we think of the long-term plan. Most people do not want to be on this injection, whether they're microdosing or dosing in the normal intervals, for long periods of time. And what this shows is it has temporary effects. While you're taking it, it will suppress the appetite. It works on that hormone that does that. But we need to think about what internal levers can we pull rather than just the external levers, because once those external levers are gone, we need to consider what are we doing within the lifestyles. Now, it's really challenging. Look, and I'm speaking from a person that actually was, 4 stone heavier and really struggled with weight myself. I was diagnosed with liver disease and told that if I didn't lose the weight, it would have gone into cirrhosis. And my family all struggled with weight. Now, that was 10 years ago. There wasn't options for the injections then. Was it challenging? Yes, it was massively challenging. Did I lose weight over 6, 12 months? No. It took, probably 4 or 5 years to lose that weight. but it's about the lessons that are learned and the levers that you then develop internally to be able to pull that. And there's challenges. Menopause is a challenge. Busy lives is a challenge. And we need to work as a society to build an environment where we aren't all gaining weight, because we are. As a population, we're all gaining weight. And these are great tools. They're great tools, but they do not fix the underlying problem.
Olivia, you at some point you're going to stop, I assume, or you're going to... Yeah, OK.
Yes.
And how are you feeling about those levers? Do you feel you've pulled the right levers so when you do stop, you'll be able to maintain...
I mean, for me, this is stop like the snacking and the second helpings. So it goes to show you that you don't need as much food as you think. And it kind of quietens the head in your voice, the food chatter. That I think, you know, we have a reward system. We think, oh, at 4 o'clock we'll have a bar of chocolate or whatever, a biscuit. So I am being quite mindful I'm doing this to try and make sure that when I come off it, I'm not going back to what I was doing. It's a really good tool to sort of highlight that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really important to work on those tools internally, you know, because like you're so right, it can be so difficult to quieten down those voices.
Yes.
But think about as soon as, even before you start taking the injection, what is the long-term plan to start building it right from the get-go?
If it's a catalyst for change, it might be a
Has
very
to be a good thing, doesn't it? Olivia, thank you.
Thank you.
Coming in. Dr. Hussain, good to see you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. Now to Daisy Suarez Giles and her husband Keith Giles, who is sadly one of the many who have lost their home in the fires. They join us live from their hotel room in Los Angeles. Good morning to you both. Thank you, Daisy, and thank you, Keith, for joining us this morning. We're so sorry to hear about your loss and everybody else there in California. Thank you for chatting to us this morning. Can you tell us a little bit about that Tuesday and when people started to leave?
Hi, thanks for having us here. Tuesday was is a night that I will never forget. You know, the smoke, the fire, the smell, the wind. It was very frightening. We actually just gotten back from holidays, so the whole day I was just, you know, going on my life. Kids went to school, and I didn't know there was a fire. I actually found out because I received a text message from a friend. She texted me around 8 p.m., and I didn't see it until closer to 9. When I look out the window, then I saw the smoke and I saw the fire. Yep, those are the first time I look out the window and I saw that. And I realized right there that something was wrong. I told my husband, this is not looking good. You know, he was trying to keep me relaxed and you know, keep us comfortable and not scared, not to panic. Everything is going to be okay. It's far out. I don't think it's going to come this way. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to take any chances. I think we should just prep a luggage and just be ready just in case we have to run out of here and go. And
I think that's one of the most frightening things is just how erratic the fire is, Daisy, when you say, you know, you just don't know which way it's going to go. And you've got 2 little boys, Henry and Lucas, too. How old are your little boys and what did you decide to do? Did you decide to sleep in the car?
So what I decided to do was, you know, they went to sleep. We had a power outage, so that's when I got more scared. I'm like, okay, this is like even getting worse. And I packed a luggage just to have it ready. They went to sleep because the little boys were tired. They were exhausted. They wanted to sleep. And I made it very clear that if everybody went to sleep, they needed to go to sleep ready. They needed to have clothes on just in case things got more worse. We would have to just run out of the house. My niece, she lived 2 blocks up the street, so her partner left the house at 10 p.m. He alerted us that there was no rooms available. So at that moment, I was like, okay, I see people, you know, I was seeing a lot of cars driving down the hill. So I was telling my husband, a lot of people are leaving. So I think we should be ready to have an exit plan as well. And I was just more concerned that we were going to have to sleep in the car. So I had a lot of pillows and comforters ready in case we needed to sleep in the car.
And we're just looking at those, Keith, we're just looking at those pictures there. It's just shocking seeing people trying to take their animals, those horses being saved. You've got your little dog in your lap there as well. And as a family, you were able to get away safely. I understand some of your neighbours decided to stay and try and protect their homes.
We've heard there are some, yes, a few people that have been found in their homes. Some made it, some didn't. So that's the risk you take when you want to try and protect your home, I guess. But we felt that keeping the family together was more important than trying to save the home.
Of course. Tell us a little bit about the community. How long have you been where you lived, and had you experienced any fires? Not on this scale, but in the past in that area, because it's the sort of thing that we've watched from afar over the years. It's never been quite as savage as this, though.
We've been there just about 4 years now, and we hadn't seen any fires in this area. I lived in an earlier lifetime. I lived a little further east of there, and I'd seen a few fires, but nothing anywhere close to this kind of scale.
And with regards to the rebuilding of the community and the rebuilding of your house, I mean, there's complication that we're understanding over here is a number of people had their fire insurance cancelled in the last couple of years because of the cost and these insurance companies or whatever. How are you feeling about the opportunity to sort of get back and try and get that community up and going again?
There's mixed feelings. I mean, we loved that community. It was a fabulous community. But there's really none of it left anymore. And, we're lucky we did not have our fire insurance canceled. What that's going to cover, though, we have no idea at this point. But do we really want to rebuild in an area that's going to have probably much sparser population and the community is already so badly damaged? So it's mixed feelings.
Yeah. And it's about taking care of the pets and the boys. So where are Henry and Lucas now, and how are they processing this? Because it's so hard to explain, I think, to, especially to children who are so young.
Henry, he's a strong little boy, stronger than I even thought. When I cry, he said, "Mommy, why are you crying? They're going to fix the house. The builders are going to come and they're going to fix it." And I mean, he said, "They're going to fix it." And I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "The builders. They're going to come and they're going to fix it." Right. And he's very hopeful that we're going to have our home back. Lucas, yesterday, when my husband spoke to him, he called and he asked my husband if the house was ready, if they already fixed it. And it's just really, it's very depressing for me because everything that we do, everything that we have worked for is for our family, for our kids. That night I could not sleep. I stayed up even though they went to sleep. And like I said, at 1:30 in the morning, when I saw that fire, like 2 houses closer, it was just 2 houses behind the house in front of me. I woke them up and I said, "It's time to go. We got to run and go. Like, we have to go." It was already getting bad. And it was just like it was just horrific, just trying to, leave and driving and seeing the fire. And we had to go up the hill to drive my other niece to pick up her car so they can leave. So it was just not a good picture, not a good memory. And my kids had to see that so they remember. And Lucas, one of the first things that he did, Henry has been speaking a lot and telling everybody what happened. Lucas has not said anything. And one of the first things that he did was in the car, in the vehicle that is burned, he started drawing a picture of the mountain with the fire.
Goodness me, it's so brutal on them. I think I'm right in saying that the boys have gone to stay with some family, haven't they? They're not with you there in California at the moment.
Yeah, they're in Florida with Daisy's family right now.
Lovely. Okay. So they're with their family in a completely different part of the world and hopefully having a whale of a time a million miles away from the reality of what's faced. Well, look, thank you both for joining us this morning and sharing your story. Fingers crossed that community can get itself back on its feet as soon as possible. And it's as painless as it possibly can be, but we can't imagine what you're going through right now.
No. Thank you. Thank you for the space and the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to join another family now who've also lost their home. Jeff Austin is live in LA alongside his daughters, 13-year-old Abigail and 10-year-old Madeline. Morning to all of you. Thank you, girls, and thank you, Jeff, for staying up to talk to us. I imagine, Jeff, hearing Daisy and Keith talk there sort of is pretty similar to what you and your family have been through. Just talk us through how it all unfolded for you.
Yeah, I mean, very similar in some ways. I follow a guy, a really remarkable guy, Edgar McGregor, online, and he's a local, lives in Altadena, and gives weather reports local to our neighborhood, and he'd been warning about these strong winds for, he gives us days advance notice. And he'd spent time in Eaton Canyon where the fire started, and he would video himself every single day picking up trash, and he warned us, if a fire starts, go. The wind was it was rough that morning, and so we actually left and went to a hotel when the girls got home from school, and so we were actually gone before the fire even started, because it was going to be 80-mile-per-hour wind, and we have a tree that hangs over our house, our bedroom, my wife and I's bedroom, and so we wanted a good night's sleep and thought we'd just be back in the morning. So we took off at a hotel early, and honestly, like, making decisions like that, it was having information like what Edgar passed us and what he passed to so many members of our community. I think he saved lives. I mean, it's just a lot of people got out, and it reduced traffic, and it helped, clear the neighborhood. So we were out pretty early, and then we went to bed that night when the fire was moving the opposite direction. And then I woke up and it had completely just gone crazy. And from about 4:30 on, when I was awake, it was just trying to find information and find out what happened. And then we got a picture from a friend who's a highway patrol officer, and he had to break the bad news, but in many ways, like, just knowing felt a little better.
So when you say you got a
You're not
picture,
wondering.
sorry, Jeff, a friend who was a highway patrolman took a picture of what was left of your home. That's what you're saying, and there wasn't anything.
Yeah, he was driving. He was working up he lives in the community as well, and I had texted him and I just said, if you're up there and you can give us something, it would be amazing. And so from the car window picture is what he sent me, and that picture is how that's how I first found out. So the other pictures, I know I have a neighbor who went up and took other pictures for us. So yeah, it was very helpful to know, but just devastating.
Yeah. And have you been back to where your house was yet, Jeff? Or what are the practical implications of what happens next? Because I imagine there's so much to do, and it must be incredibly overwhelming, because you've obviously feel so emotional, but at the same time, you've got to be practical too.
Yeah, it's sort of like I haven't really had a chance to, like, kind of grieve the whole thing yet, because I mean, there's thousands of us just in Altadena alone that are now looking for temporary and long-term housing, for those of us staying in the area. And so my wife and I are just, I mean, I feel like I have a third job now, just finding a place to live, dealing with insurance, replacing, an entire life of things. And there's a lot of those comments like, well, things are just things. And it's true, but there's just your home and the things you have kind of tell your story. And so they can be a little more than things to, I know they are to me. So it is really very much just I'm working all day, and luckily the girls have had friends that take them in during the day, and they get to kind of escape it, and I really appreciate our community, our friends for giving us that chance.
Maybe I can just ask Abigail and Madeline how they're getting on. Abigail, what's it been like these last few days for you and your family and your friends as well?
Yeah, I'm like just truly so grateful for just being able to kind of be surrounded by that kind of community, and the amount of donations that we have received, and just being able to just be around friends and having that comfort is just so amazing. It's it's tough, but it's also knowing that this community can be so beautiful coming together. It's just it definitely is.
Was it scary, Abigail?
It definitely was. I'd never been through a windstorm this powerful yet. And then knowing that our home is gone, it's just kind of I don't know, you're kind of in denial at first, and it is scary to know like there's so many people who have lost their houses and stuff. And yeah, so it is scary, but you know, being surrounded by that kind of community, it makes it a little less scary.
And Madeline, I know that your dad got you all to pack some stuff before you left. What were the things that you took that you're very glad that you were able to pack and save?
A pair of shoes, obviously. One of my stuffed animals.
Your squishmallow.
Yeah.
Your squishmallow.
My sweatpants, probably. And I don't know, like everything that counts.
Yeah.
I just was expecting to come home that night. I mean, the next night.
Yeah.
And
it just
we
wasn't to be, sadly, was it? But as you say, and as you've just brilliantly articulated, Abigail, having that community around you that's looking after you and putting an arm around you that you can share what you've been through is going to be hugely important going forward. Jeff, thank you for joining us this morning. Girls, thank you for joining us. I know your mum's very emotional as well, so big hugs to her, and we wish you all the best for the future. Fingers crossed.
We greatly appreciate just having the chance to talk about our community. And Altadena is a great place. It's a magical place. We'll come back. We're going to be rebuilt and alongside of so many other people. And you know, it's going to be a long journey. And I promised them I would say like it would be very helpful for me if Liverpool could help win that league this year. So
Oh, Jeff.
I told him I wouldn't wear my hat, but
I tell you what, there's always an opportunity to talk about your favourite football team, no matter what the situation.
There always is.
But you know what, though, in moments like this, when you're looking for any sort of hope to cling on to, they're really, really important, whether it's for the girls, whether it's for you, whether it's for your family, your community. So fingers crossed you can rebuild as soon as possible and you get all the support that you need going forward as well. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
my one message to Altadenans though is Altadena is not for sale. Like we're rebuilding Altadena how it's supposed to be, and we're not gonna let it come something else. So thank you all so much for letting us tell our story.
Thank you.
Not at all. Lovely to meet you all.
Guys.
What an extraordinary couple of families they are.
It's amazing, isn't it, how the worst of times can also bring out the best things in human beings and communities.
Well, you've got friends. You lived out there. You know, I was speaking to some friends yesterday. I was speaking to one of my really good friends, Darren, and his wife's parents' house is still really vulnerable out there in California. They've got a family living with them. They're a bit further down the coast that have lost their home already.
Yeah.
So everybody somewhere will have a connection with some family that has been through what those two families have just articulated.
And what Jeff said is absolutely true. It's all about everybody taking care of each other and really having that real sense of community and pulling together. Yeah.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.